Okay, I felt like I needed to address a couple of issues. T-Mod, I'm back. So, let me explain something about how Facebook works. You see stuff, you can comment on other people's walls, or if they allow it, you can post on things that they have posted, make comments. On my wall, you can't just make a new post. I don't allow it because people don't know how to act in your house sometimes. So I disable that. But when I do share things, I allow people to comment as long as they are civil. What I do not tolerate is people telling me what I should do on my wall. You can piss off as far as that goes. And I really need you to understand that. So this lady, Candace Owens, decides to grab some headlines because there are those out there that's going to just jump all over. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Making the issue of Floyd's death about his criminal background. I never looked into it. It was irrelevant. I read that the arrest was allegedly based on him trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. Again, that was still irrelevant to how the man died, the actions of the police officer. So to now turn around and in an effort to grab headlines or to remain relevant, we are now making this about Floyd is not a martyr. No one individual is a martyr in the grand scheme of things when it comes to bad cops killing people. Period. All of them were victims of a system that has not been put in check for a very, very long time. And I have given you the history on that, qualified immunity. And George Bush comes out saying that we need to hear the protesters because of all of the failures. Man, your dad was in office for 8 years. You were in office for 8 years. Clinton was in office for 8 years. Barack Obama was in office for 8 years. I think that's 32 years in all. And you talk about we need to now address the failures of government. Give me a break. We have a Bill of Rights in this country. And it applies to every single American in this country. And if you're even in this country illegally, you are afforded most of those protections when it comes to jurisprudence. And whatever Mr. Floyd's criminal past was, it had no relevance when that man was laying on that ground, having his life snuffed out. I just learned today, and I'll be honest with y'all, I have never once watched the video. I don't watch people being killed because it gets down in my soul, especially when they are being killed by some wanton lunatic or some bad cop, when it's an individual that's unarmed. I don't watch stuff like that. Long time ago, I stopped watching movies like Roots. Watched it once. That was it. I was done. I read about the things. I study about the things. I understand what causes these things to happen. And I was saying to some people today on a radio interview that they asked, do we need more legislation? In a show I did the other night, the lady asked, do we need more legislation like a human rights bill? I said, y'all, pump your brakes for a minute. We have a constitution and we have the Bill of Rights, which tells the government what they are not allowed to do to us. We have allowed politicians to allow those freedoms to sort of slip away, like with the FISA abuses against Donald Trump, spying on him, using the FISA court in an effort to try and topple his election, to topple his administration after he had won. So for somebody to sit, you know what, and this one lady gonna tell me, if you don't like her stuff, don't read it. Lady, who in the hell are you? Who do you think you are? I'm on my wall. You came on my wall and commented. And I have to ask this person, while that man was lying down on the ground having the life snuffed out of him, and I was about to say earlier, I heard today that he called out for his mom. I know that man died there. So he may have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. It may have been a setup, but that man was killed right there on that ground. Do you think I was concerned about the $20 bill? The counterfeit $20 bill? Do you? Do you think I was concerned about whatever his criminal history may have been? Do you? Do you think it would have bothered me to know that he was being arrested for molesting a child? He is still entitled to the protections of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. I don't know why you people don't understand that. I don't even know why his criminal background is even an issue. It has nothing to do with what took place on that day when that man was murdered by that police officer. Absolutely nothing. But now to grab headlines, well, Mr. Floyd is no hero, he is no martyr, and I am not celebrating him. Ain't nobody asked you to. This angers me that people can be so short-sighted and so cruel. You know, I said to this lady, I don't know whether or not you know anything about Christ or not, but there's a story in the Bible where a woman was brought before Christ. Not that Christ was the law, but Christ had been going and basically just kicking butt and making them look all crazy. So they sought to entrap him over the law of Moses. Notice I said over the law of Moses, because, you know, many of those things in the law, Jesus said, hey, man, in the beginning, it was not so. But Moses, he didn't say God, Moses suffered you. At any rate, I digress. The woman was brought to him guilty of a capital offense, adultery, and was about to be stoned to death. But with a few words, he among you that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. I ain't gonna stand in your way. Go ahead, cast the first stone. What they do? They dropped their bricks and got the hell on. And Jesus was sitting there. He looked up. They were all gone. He looked at the woman. Where are those that accuse you? Master, they dropped their bricks and they got the hell on. He simply told her, go and sin no more. He didn't say, well, you know what? I shouldn't have told them that because you was out there whoring around with that man. I should have let them go on and stone you to death because you know you was guilty. That is the mindset of these people. And I finally closed on that woman telling her, not so long ago in this country when the Bill of Rights still existed, we still had the Constitution. And I'm talking 70, 80 years ago. 70 or 80 years ago, 100 years ago. And if something was happening to a black man by the police getting the brakes beat off of him, or, you know, they decided, some woman, you remember Emmett Till, the boy that they beat and burned and killed, but, you know, somebody they're getting ready to hang because, you know, a woman done said he did something or another, and then, you know, somebody might say, but don't you think maybe he needs to get arrested and maybe they ought to go through a trial, you know, bring some witnesses? And I could hear or imagine some racist prick saying, but Margot, come on now. He's a Negro. The law don't apply to him the same as it does to us white folks. So when I see these people jumping on this bandwagon of Candace Owens, talking about the background of this man's life, as though that makes the death less tragic, it sickens me. And it ought to sicken you. Pick up a damn book and read it. Read about the Constitution and get an understanding about the Bill of Rights and how it works. It does not subdivide. It does not make excuses. They tell defense attorneys, everybody is entitled to the best defense that you can give them. I mean, hey, look, I know most people don't give a damn. But for those of us that's sitting over here wanting the people in Washington, D.C., wanting people in state government and local government to do the right thing, wanting the bad cops to be gone so that all that remains are good cops, we just want to see the right thing taking place. We just want to see that everybody is treated the same under the law. That's all we want. And that man's past is irrelevant, and shame on Candace Owens. And I've been telling y'all about her for a long time, just like I did Trey Gowdy, just like I did the rest. So y'all can keep on drinking that, excuse my language, bullshit Kool-Aid if you want to, but stay the hell off my wall telling me what I can say or what I shouldn't say. I'll say whatever is on my mind as the Lord my God leads me to do. I was asked, would I take a knee for Floyd? I say the only person I take a knee for, and I take two when I do it, that is for Jesus Christ and the God above. That's it. I don't need to take a knee for Floyd. I can stand and say that man had no business being his life. He had no business having his life taken from him the way that he did. It is a hell of a thing to kill a man. You take away all that he has and everything he'll ever have. Y'all remember that. I'm out. Good night.